Kate Middleton's been through a lot these last few years, and while her hairstyle might appear to have remained the same throughout, the truth is it's been through quite the transformation. Even in the earliest days of Princess Catherine's relationship with Prince William, she wore her chocolate-coloured hair in a bouncy blowout. The couple met at the University of St Andrews in 2001, and they were initially little more than friends. Their dynamic took a romantic turn in 2002, however, after William saw Catherine walk the runway in a college fashion show titled The Art of Seduction. When the pair dated in the aughts, Catherine's go-to hairstyle was a head of cascading, medium brown locks with long layers and modest, swooping bangs parted to one side. She frequently donned a more casual style, including at her graduation ceremony in 2005 and the Cheltenham Festival in 2007. As the next decade neared, Catherine started adding a slight flip to the ends of her tresses, which gave her usual blowout a more feminine look in combination with additional layers framing her face. Around 2008, Catherine began growing the swathe of hair from cheekbone level to chin length. In November 2010, Prince William and Kate Middleton announced that they were officially engaged after 8 years of dating.
I really didn't expect it at all. I thought he might have maybe thought about it, but no. It was a total shock when it came and very excited.
For their engagement photo shoot and interview, the future princess wore a deep blue dress that complemented the diamond and sapphire engagement ring that had once belonged to Princess Diana. The hairstyle Catherine wore for her debut as a future member of the royal family has become just as iconic as the engagement frenzy itself. The princess's espresso-coloured locks were blown out in what has become her go-to style in the decades since. The layered ends of her mane were curled away from her face to create dimension and bounce, and her side-swept bangs looked polished as ever, sweeping into her voluminous style while framing her face. The Blowout 2.0, if you will, was born from Catherine's preferred casual blowout of the aughts, but upgraded to a more sophisticated style. Catherine's hair transformation continued in her first year as a royal. In the months leading up to Catherine and Prince William's April 2011 wedding and in those that followed, Catherine's tresses were lightened to a dimensional milk chocolate colour, and her rich strands were routinely coaxed into curls. Though the style slightly varied at each event and engagement she attended, the staple characteristics of the princess's hairstyles were volume, shine, and femininity. From her sleek blowout for the June 2011 Absolute Return for Kids Gala to the bouncy, girlish mane of large barrel curls for a visit to comfort victims of a riot in August 2011, Catherine's hair became an integral element of her image as a high-ranking royal, with not a hair out of place or spot of frizz to be seen. Catherine's sleek and sophisticated hairstyles helped to position her as a fixture in the monarchy. Catherine made the first major change to her head of royal hair in 2012. While stepping out for the opening night of a new exhibition at London's Natural History Museum, the princess debuted glamorous curtain bangs swept into a lush style that was very 70s.
We just washed the hair. Yeah. You know, I work on my hair a long time, and you hit it. He hits my hair.
The retro-inspired look was a significant change for Catherine. Though she'd rocked bangs before, they had previously served as more of a complement to her lengthy tresses than the statement characteristic of her look. Many fans speculated that the princess's bangs were a strategic move to distract the public from the huge news she would soon announce, her first pregnancy. The Natural History Museum event took place on November 27th, and on December 3rd, she and William shared that they would soon be welcoming their first child. When Catherine, William and George made their first appearance together on the steps of the Lindo wing at St Mary's Hospital, it wasn't just the baby Catherine was debuting. Catherine had reportedly made a visit to the Rossano Ferretti salon a month before George's arrival, where she treated herself to a $1,500 cut and colour. Catherine premiered her new look on the hospital steps, showing off a mane of cascading, honey-highlighted hair styled in loose waves. Catherine kept the subtle blonde tones and mermaid-esque length in her hair throughout the rest of the year. In the final months of 2013, she attended an engagement with her tresses styled in a more bohemian fashion than usual. While the princess typically opted to keep her look pretty classic up to this point, she rocked loose, tumbling waves parted down the centre of her head for a charity visit on Remembrance Day. By 2014, Catherine had gone back to her signature rich chocolate colour, but she continued to grow her locks longer than ever. Though she stuck to this longer look for the first half of the year, the princess trimmed several inches off her mane at the height of summer. While attending Wimbledon and the Tour de France that July, Catherine showed off her freshly cut do. The new mum also began straying from her usual classic curls of years past in favour of polished blowouts with a slight flip at the ends of her hair, a look that emphasised her role as a busy working mother. Notably, she and William announced their second pregnancy that September. Princess Catherine was pregnant with Princess Charlotte for the first half of 2015, and she didn't change her hair too much while she awaited her second child's arrival.
What more can we want? Over £8. George was £8.06.
Are you happy?
Oh, I'm over the moon. I feel as though I've had the baby myself.
Her medium-length chestnut locks from the latter half of 2014 stuck around through Charlotte's birth in May 2015, but a few months later, Catherine premiered a fresh look reminiscent of her vintage do of 2012. While attending Wimbledon in July of that year, the princess's honey highlights returned, while a modest curtain bang framed her face. A few months later, Catherine swapped the blend of blonde for auburn tones, and her 70s-style fringe became even more pronounced. She revealed the full comeback of her blown-out bangs in September during a visit to the Anna Freud Centre, and the polished retro look was an instant hit with fans. Catherine committed to bangs for the rest of the year. Come December, however, the princess would make her most dramatic hair change to date. In December 2015, Catherine shocked the royal world by chopping several inches off her hair. Her new look skimmed her décolletage and featured a shorter fringe that framed one side of her face, a slight deviation from her curtain bangs. The royal's shorter locks stuck around through the first half of 2016, and in the last few months of the year, she let it grow back in a return to her signature medium-length, long-layered, bangless look. Catherine's hair largely stayed the same through the beginning of 2017, though the princess made another major change to her do that year at Wimbledon. Yet another dramatic chop, this one even shorter than her previous chop. The playful style included long layers, face-framing pieces, and a slight angle for a long bob effect. No bangs this time around. The princess continued to favour her short, bouncy style and middle part through the rest of the year, with a visit to Germany that July being a standout moment. She let her hair get slightly longer before announcing her third pregnancy that September. During her pregnancy with Prince Louis, Princess Catherine opted to keep her low-maintenance, relatively short mane. After Louis's birth in April, Catherine was ready for yet another change to her flowing head of hair, and she debuted just that at Wimbledon in July. Her hair had grown out slightly by summer, and for the sunny season, Catherine had golden highlights woven into her chestnut strands. In October, Catherine and William attended their first joint engagement since welcoming their third child, stepping out at the inaugural Global Ministerial Mental Health Summit. For the event, Catherine's hair was a tad longer than it had been at Wimbledon, though it was styled similarly. By the end of the year, she had begun to return to her signature royal hairstyle of warm brown colouring, long layers and no bangs. A factory reset, if you will. Catherine's return to her classic hairstyle lasted the whole of 2019, with minimal changes. In fact, the only noticeable difference to her hair was a slightly warmer, more caramel-coloured hue to her locks during summer and fall. The rich colouring was most noticeable during Wimbledon that July, where the sun caught the glistening gold and copper tones in her tresses. Throughout 2019, Catherine seemed to favour three subtle style variations: her no-fuss, no-muss blowout with flipped ends, her bouncy, large barrel curls, and her effortlessly undone waves that felt polished yet very mum on the go.
It's been revealed in the last hour that a woman who flew into London from China a few days ago is being treated for coronavirus.
2020 would be a big year for the world, but not much changed for Princess Catherine's style, as she kept her chestnut mane and medium length. She cut a few inches off her ends in March, altering her bust-length hair to graze her collarbones instead. As the summer approached, Catherine began attending a couple of engagements here and there while following coronavirus safety protocols. During an August visit to Wales with Prince William, the princess revealed the slightly more experimental look she had been rocking under the radar. As summer gave way to fall, Catherine once again let her tresses grow back out, and her colour returned to her staple milk chocolate hue. A few weeks later, the princess debuted her most experimental hair colour to date, a sandy blonde. Catherine must not have loved the look, however, since she was only seen with her lighter mane during an October engagement at the University of Derby. Before the end of the year, Catherine had once again undergone a factory reset, with her long chocolate strands making a return. As the coronavirus pandemic raged on in 2021, Princess Catherine and the rest of the royal family continued with their reduced schedule of appearances. Catherine's hair philosophy for the year seemed to be less is more as well. The princess refrained from altering the colour of her brunette tresses and focused on growing it long and strong. While lengthening her locks, the royal frequently donned voluminous curls that billowed around her shoulders and tapered toward her ends, creating shapely structure that emphasised the thickness of her hair. The princess also rocked many a ponytail in 2021 as well, wearing her hair up during both casual and formal appearances. Princess Catherine's commitment to growing out her hair paid off in 2022. Her rich brown hair was even longer than it was back in 2013. The royal shiny strands reached the bottom of her bust, and she began parting her hair down the centre of her head much more frequently than usual. The Princess of Wales, known for her curly, voluminous hairstyles, began wearing her hair blown out very nearly straight with minimal volume, a look that was aided not just by styling tools, but also by the fact that her layers were so very long. In March, she donned this sleek style several times, first during a visit to a Ukrainian cultural centre, then on numerous days during a tour of the Caribbean with Prince William. While Catherine continued to favour straight locks throughout 2022, including at London's Top Gun Maverick premiere, she also wore her signature curly blowout many times. Additionally, the princess played around with half and full updos more than usual, incorporating various hair accessories, such as her boucle hairband at an Anzac Day service and her elegant purple pillbox hat for a visit by South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. Modernity continued to be a theme for Princess Catherine's hair philosophy in 2023. The royal wore her hair much the same as the previous year, favouring a straight, sleek style or a loosely curled look when she wasn't rocking an updo. And when the royal was ready to mix it up just a little bit, she got curtain bangs once again. The Princess of Wales carried this retro-inspired look through the rest of the year, while Catherine may have made extremely subtle colour changes to her hair, lightening it a tad for summer and going slightly darker for winter. Her tresses remained some variation of rich chocolate throughout the year.